Hi and welcome to our channel, Molly Property. This is Molly. Today we're going to do a little bit of gardening. So we're going to share with you a few tips that we learned in these 2 years. I am not an expert, not even close, but these are things that I've been doing with my tomato plants for the last 2 years. Today I'm going to be giving our tomato plants a little bit of TLC before they start growing their beautiful, delicious tomatoes. A lot of them are just flowering, so now it's the important stage where you give them fertilizer and take care of them by taking off their suckers. And for those who don't know what suckers are, I will show you in a minute. This year we used our compost that we were throwing in a huge bin for the whole year, and it was amazing. It was full of worms and it looked delicious and it smelled really nice. But delicious, I say that, I wouldn't eat it. It was also full of seeds, so I use it in all the gardens. And whenever we throw away any veggies, we throw away the seeds too. And we had a lot of tomatoes that had gone rotten, so we just threw them in whole. And as a result of that, everywhere that I put all this really, really nice compost to make our soil better is now full of tomatoes. All I have to do is weed it and just keep the ones I want, which is amazing. But I also kept, so we have a lot of tomatoes now growing everywhere, but when they're a certain size, I just don't want to weed them and throw them away because it's a pity once we already have them. So I try to pull them out as carefully as I can, and I put them in water. Now they looked so much better, but I've been busy the last week and they look like they're dying, so it's time I did something about it. Now I'm going to be planting the tomatoes and try and save them and give them to friends, because not everyone does well every year with certain things. So we have a few friends around here and they have a very good potato season and we have a very good tomato season. Instead of buying pots for our seedlings, we just use our milk cartons and we cut them in half and put holes in the bottom. They really work well. For a couple of days they're going to look like they've taken a beating because they have to recover from being taken out of the ground, roots and all. And then, once they recover, they will look amazing again. To find those suckers, you go up the main stem, and the growth between the leaf and the stem is called a sucker. All you have to do, when it's small, is pinch it off with your fingers. If it is bigger and you think you might hurt the plant, just get a pair of secateurs and just cut it off. Every sucker you have on your plant is going to have suckers on it, and these suckers will have more suckers, and those suckers will have suckers, and their suckers will have suckers. See where I'm going with this? The plant can get crazy. The good news is, if you take off a sucker when it's a pretty decent size, if you put it in water and keep it in water for 7 or 8 days, it will grow roots and you can plant it. It will grow like a normal tomato plant that you can keep in your garden or give to friends. The most important suckers to remove are below the first flower cluster, because they will grow the biggest and the strongest and will take the most energy from your plant and from the main stem. But we also found out that if you live in a hot country, it's worth leaving on a couple of suckers, so they give shade to your tomatoes and they won't get sun blistered. So if you take off most of the suckers, and just leave a few at the top ones will be the weaker ones, therefore the better ones to leave. You will have less fruit, obviously, but you will have better fruit, tastier, juicier, more delicious. Removing the bottom leaves of your plant will prevent diseases and increase airflow. Tomato plants don't like being wet, so you shouldn't wet the leaves when watering, and make sure you water at the base of the plant, so that the bacteria and the fungal pathogens have less opportunity to spread. So staking is so important for a tomato plant because even though it might be small now, it will grow very tall. It can grow up to 6, well, it depends on the tomato plant, but it can be 4, 6, 8, even sometimes 10 feet. But if you stake it and then it exceeds your expectations, you can just top it. Cut off the top and it will stop growing there. This next tip is my favorite tomato tip so far, and we got it from one of our favorite gardening channels on YouTube, MI Gardener, so thank you. flicking the tomato flower clusters for just 10 seconds. The flower of a tomato is both male and female, and sometimes they fail to self-pollinate. So the flower falls off and you get no fruit. But by flicking the flower, it gets the vibration it needs to knock the pollen from the male part down into the female portion of the flower. And you get a much more successful fruit set. Molly wants me to finish talking so that we can go walkies. Isn't that right? You want to go walkies? So shall I wrap this up? Okay. I just want to say one more thing and then we will go walkies, okay? Okay, so one last thing I will tell you, that before I planted the tomatoes, because last year we had a lot of problems with the blossom end rot, which doesn't look very nice. You can eat around the tomato, but it still wastes quite a bit of the tomato. What? And I heard that it could happen when the soil is lacking in calcium, so your tomatoes are lacking in calcium. What I did was I dug a nice hole before and put some really good soil from in between our boulders, where I'm hoping that a lot of minerals got stuck. So it has a bit of that soil, and also I put crushed eggshell too. When the eggshell breaks down, it releases the calcium into the soil, and then the tomatoes thrive. So this year we're trying this out, and fingers crossed it works. Thanks for joining me on my little, gardening experience. I don't know too much, but what I know I will share. And yep, hope you enjoyed it. Bye for now and have a great day.